Good evening, everybody. I hope you had a good evening, a good weekend. If you're a mom, I hope you had a good Mother's Day today, and your children blessed you and so on. Hope you had a good day today. I'll share and continue in our study in the tribulation period time frame of man since he's been here on earth. I'll look at Mark chapter 13, verses 15 and 16 says, "And a man on the housetop must not come down or go into get anything out of his house, and a man in the field must not go back to get his coat." What is Jesus saying here? There are three reasons why Jesus warns his disciples and us today in verses 15 and 16 to not to go back or to look back during the Great Tribulation period. And I believe that Jesus' followers knew what he meant by this because they would often build rooms on top of their houses, kind of like a second, third story house. However, here are three reasons. The first one, I believe, that Jesus is reminding his disciples about what happened to Lot's wife when she looked back and became a pillar of salt. And that's in Genesis 19, verses 15 through 26. She did not turn into a pillar of salt because she looked back, but became a pillar of salt because she obeyed God. She obeyed God because she looked back. God told them, when you leave Sodom and Gomorrah, don't look back. Just run. Don't look back. And she was consumed by her earthly things, her earthly lifestyle, her family that got left behind in Sodom and Gomorrah. And what happened? She turned into a pillar of salt. And disobedience to God when God told Lot and his wife not to look back, just run. Secondly, I also believe that Jesus was warning us too. That day, this time, not to look back at the things of this world, because we can't take things of this world with us. They are only temporary. 2 Corinthians 4:18. Things of this world, of this life, are only temporary. We can't take them with us. There's archaeologists digging up treasures from ancient pharaohs, from ancient kings of Egypt, ancient pharaohs of Egypt, and many other countries around the world where people buried their belongings with them just to have them dug up and found today by archaeology. So we can't take things with us. They're only temporary. That's why we need to keep our minds on heavenly things, on things that are eternal. 2 Corinthians 4:18. So what are we to do then? We are to keep our minds on things above, Colossians 3:2. Thirdly, I believe that during this time on earth, when Jesus returns to get his church, and we are alive when he comes, rather we are at work or home in bed, asleep, he will take us. Do you know of somebody that went to bed and never got back up the next morning? What did the doctors find out that happened? Their heart stopped beating. They had a heart attack, didn't they? Or a stroke or whatever that caused them to pass away while they were asleep. And that is found in Luke 17:34 and 35. I tell you, in that night there will be two men in one bed. The one will be taken and the other will be left. Two women will be grinding together. The one will be taken and the other will be left. Some people have taken these words of Jesus out of context to mean something different and negative. They've taken it out of context and twisted it to mean something that don't mean nothing what Jesus was actually saying. So putting it back in context, Jesus is saying that whether we are home in bed asleep, or whether we are at work when he comes to get us, or we go to the grave, we will go to be with him. If he comes back and we're still alive, whether we're home asleep, in bed asleep, or whether we're at work, we're going to go. That's why he says, don't go back to the house, get your things. Don't go down to the field to get your jacket. Don't worry about your jacket. When the time comes, you're going to go. When I come, you're going to go. You don't need that stuff where you're going. You can't take any earthly things with you. And the next section of this is going to be really interesting for you women. And I hope you have a good Mother's Day today. And remember, to die is to gain. To live is for Christ Jesus. Have a blessed night and blessed week.